Samsung Legal End User License Agreement for Samsung Software. This End User License Agreement (EULA) is a legal agreement between you, either an individual or a single entity, and Samsung Electronics Company Limited, Samsung, we, us, for software which will be defined below. Samsung software, whether pre-installed or downloaded, that is owned by Samsung and or its affiliated companies and its third-party suppliers and licenses, that accompanies this EULA, which includes software, associated media content, data, printed materials, and electronic documentation made available to you in connection with the use of your Samsung mobile device. By using this device or any other Samsung mobile product, including mobile phones and tablets, running on an Android operating system, and QWOT Samsung mobile device and QWOT winking face, you accept the terms of this EULA. If you do not accept these terms, do not use the Samsung mobile device or the Samsung software. 1. Grant of license. Samsung grants you a limited non-exclusive license to install, use, access, display, and run one copy of the Samsung software on a single Samsung mobile device, and the local hard disk or other permanent storage media of one computer, and you may not make Samsung software available over a network where it could be used by multiple computers or Samsung mobile devices at the same time. You may make one copy of the Samsung software in machine-readable form for backup purposes only, provided that the backup copy must include all copyright or other proprietary notices contained on the original. Certain items of the Samsung software may be subject to open source licenses. The open source license provisions may override some of the terms of this EULA. We will make the applicable open source licenses available to you in the Legal Notices section of the Settings menu of your Samsung mobile device. 2. Reservation of rights and ownership. Samsung reserves all rights not expressly granted to you in this EULA. The Samsung software is protected by copyright and other intellectual property laws and treaties. Samsung or its suppliers own the title, copyright, and other intellectual property rights in the Samsung software. The Samsung software is licensed, not sold, if you are a legal minor under the applicable laws in your region. Minor, you represent that you have reviewed this EULA with your parent or legal guardian and that you and your parent or guardian understand and consent to the terms and conditions of this EULA. If you are a parent or guardian permitting a minor to use the Samsung mobile device, you agree to supervise the minor's use of the Samsung mobile device, assume all risks associated with the minor's use of the Samsung mobile device, assume any liability resulting from the minor's use of the Samsung mobile device, ensure the accuracy and truthfulness of all information submitted by the minor, and assume responsibility and be bound by this EULA for the minor's access and use of the Samsung mobile device. 3. Limitations on end-user rights. You shall not, and shall not enable or permit others to copy, reverse engineer, decompile, disassemble, or otherwise attempt to discover the source code or algorithms of the Samsung software, except and only to the extent that such activity is expressly permitted by applicable law, notwithstanding this limitation, or modify, or disable any features of the Samsung software, or create derivative works based on the Samsung software. You may not rent, lease, lend, sublicense, or provide commercial hosting services with the Samsung software. You may not transfer this EULA or the rights to the Samsung software granted herein to any third party unless it is in connection with the sale of the Samsung mobile device which the Samsung software accompanied. In such event, the transfer must include all of the Samsung software, including all component parts, the media and printed materials, any upgrades, and this EULA, and you may not retain any copies of the Samsung software. The transfer may not be an indirect transfer, such as a consignment. Prior to the transfer, the end user receiving the Samsung software must agree to all the terms of the EULA. Where the Samsung mobile device is being used by your employee or another person using the Samsung mobile device as part of your undertaking, your staff, that member of your staff is licensed to use the Samsung software as if it was you and must comply with these terms on the same basis. Any failure to comply with these terms by your staff shall be deemed a failure to comply with these terms by you.
Thanks for waiting until now. Subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this.